Hey, what's up, guys? Joey and Jim here to do a Rewind Theater on the new Robocop trailer.
And right off the bat, we got our first look at the XT-908. It is the drone created by Omnicore, this movie's version of OCP. And this is Iran in the future. It's Operation Freedom, the American military occupation of Iran, and Omnicore's products being used in conjunction with actual boots on the ground. There's Detroit, still out of control. Now here, is that Hugo Weaving?
You know, once you said that, I really can't unsee it. So
no, it's Joel Kinnaman. He is our new Robocop. Alex Murphy. In this movie, instead of just a regular patrolman, he is an undercover cop, and his partner is none other than Omar himself, Michael Kenneth Williams. He plays Officer Lewis. Yes, Lewis, who's no longer a woman. And as we'll see, he is not long for this world. Yes, what's a cop movie without a dead partner and a vengeful other partner, the living one? Now here, that is Samuel Jackson as Pat Novak, a TV firebrand pundit, and he has an opinion on Robocop that we'll see play out a little later. He has described his character as Rush Sharpton, essentially a political bomb thrower on the air in the vein of a Rush Limbaugh or Al Sharpton. Actually, let's go back and look right here. Now, on the left is the EM-20. That is the pure robot predecessor to Robocop. There on the right, sort of the classic Robocop look. And so what's the difference? Well, one is an android, a robot that's in human form. The other one actually has a human component. It's a cyborg. So that's the big step forward there in Omnicore's law enforcement products.
There's a nice little cameo here that you might have missed.
That's right. Your licensing dollars well spent on Frank Sinatra, because that's what the kids want.
That's what they're listening to while they're working on Human Brains.
They want old Blue Eyes there in the Robocop movie. Let's go back here and check out, who is that?
Gary Oldman in every blockbuster ever now.
He is playing Dr. Norton, the creator of Robocop. You guys might remember in the original movie, it was a team of guys. Here, let's scrub forward a little bit. There is our first look at Michael Keaton as Omnicore CEO Raymond Sellers. And to his right, you see Jay Baruchel as one of his acolytes, a guy named Pope. And in the background, I thought this was interesting. Those look to be Francis Bacon paintings. And why is that in any way noteworthy? Well, because Francis Bacon, a lot of, thematically, it was a lot of about torture in the human body and the flesh and all that. And so it just sort of ties in thematically with Alex Murphy's plight.
Look at you and your art history.
Yeah.
That is some nice set design, though, I will say. This is cool because that's a little Peter Weller cameo right there under the combat words that you see. That's the old school Robocop. And also the Omnicore logo you can see is pretty much the OCP logo, just without the P.
And I think it's interesting, too, the human hand there. Apparently they did that, Omnicore did that in this Robocop, so that when he shakes hands with people, they feel a human touch and not just cold
because
robotic
the entire
skin.
robot body isn't intimidating enough.
Now, let's go back here. Here is Abby Cornish as, let's try and get a good look here. Abby Cornish as Clara Murphy. I almost said Axel. Alex Murphy's wife, and there's their tousled-haired little boy. Their family plays a lot bigger of a role than they did in the original.
In the original, it was just like flashbacks and really quick stuff just to know it was there. But here it looks like you're going to be spending time and getting to know them.
And here's also interesting, the fact that a car bomb is what gets Alex this time around and not a Clarence Boddicker. There doesn't seem to be any sort of Clarence Boddicker component to this movie, which makes me wonder who exactly is the villain. If Michael Keaton's character has been described as more just a businessman.
But that's the interesting thing is that a car bomb is a personal attack, so clearly there's someone out for Murphy in general.
Yeah.
So maybe it could be still Omnicore behind it, looking for a test subject.
Yeah.
And choosing Murphy, and that's how they get him to do it.
This is the damage that the car bomb hath wrought on Alex there. There you see that basically really the only thing salvageable is going to be his head and his hand, and that's precisely what they do. They end up essentially amputating him from below the neck, and they keep the hand again for the reasons we described. And yeah, the family plays a lot more of a role in this remake than they did in the original. You know, he seems to be aware of what happened to him. He seems to be aware of his past. He thinks he's in control, but really in this version, rather than in the original, he had no memory at all, no real human element. It was all about him regaining his humanity. This is about him, his free will. He has the illusion of free will.
Right, and they're going to show that here in a minute in a training sequence that we get to see in the trailer.
Am I man or am I machine?
It's very Shakespearean in that moment.
He thinks he has free will.
And I think that's the biggest difference between this reboot and the original, is that he knows who he is and he knows his family, because we see them interacting all throughout this trailer.
Now, this is interesting too, in that his human element, his emotions kicking up, he thinks are in control until there is something that requires any sort of police or violent response, in which case the machine kicks in.
Right.
See here, they're going to redesign them, make them more, as he says, tactical, make it black. We're going to see a number of different Robocop suits throughout. This is interesting because there is Robo right there. This is a training facility. You'll see the Omnicore logo in the background and all the EM-20s. Essentially, he is last test before battle here.
And this is what we were talking about with the free will. This is where they explicitly explain it in the trailer.
Right. I mean, these are the puppet masters right here.
Right.
And we'll see that basically everyone is under surveillance here, and you can find a murderer in a crowd in no time. Like this guy, Thomas King.
What did you do, King?
He's wanted for murder.
But they show a lot of RoboVision in this, and sort of what his technology does. We'll see later these CCTV live feeds and stuff of ongoing crimes. So.
And Pat Novak here, clearly RoboCop has now become a national sensation, and the movie definitely has a less satirical tone than the original. The Verhoeven movie really was sort of poking fun at fascism and all that. This seems to be played straight. Will that work? Will people miss that sort of dark comedy of the original?
I miss it in the trailer.
I mean, it does kind of make you think of the Total Recall remake, where it was played very straight. We'll see how this new one shakes out in February 2014. Coming up right here, though, is one more thing we want to notate. Oh, let's just backtrack here. Again, we're in Iran, because you can tell by the mural there on the wall. Clearly, okay. That is Jackie Earle Haley as an Omnicore employee. You can see the logo there in his arm. And we believe he's some sort of quartermaster. I think his character is named Maddox. And you can see that it looks like he's training him on how his weaponry reacts. Just look at his eyes.
Yeah, his eyes lower when the gun pops out. It doesn't look like he's actually drawing on him, because.
And he's not scared. I mean, there's no fear. Although, if you were Jackie Earle Haley, really, would you be scared? You're Freddy Krueger. You're Rorschach. You don't give a damn. So is he kind of the cue to his James Bond? We'll find out. And probably going to be a lot of different suits, thus toys for the kids.
Yep. Lots of upgrades.
And again, it looks tonally very different. Now, this is interesting here because it's almost like he's revisiting the scene of his own would-be murder. You see the reflections of the fire on his mask. But here's what I don't understand. If this is a flashback, why is there a reflection in his visor? It's like he really is there.
Maybe there's a time travel element that we don't know about. I'm just kidding. But maybe it's something, in Iron Man 3 when Tony's doing the crime scene, the virtual crime scene thing. Maybe this is some sort of technology that's letting him replay these memories, but from like a first-person perspective.
I don't know what Clara Murphy would think about her weight being out there in the movie. I don't think anybody likes their weight being put up. There's Michael Keaton again. Now this is in Iran, there's going to be a significant portion of the opening of the movie. The first act will establish Omnicor's kind of global presence and what their products have been doing in both law enforcement and the military. We'll see that there's still, you can see in the background, there's still actual boots in the ground, but that in the future, drones and machines will take over more of the American military presence around the world.
This movie has a wider scope than the original, and that it's not just Detroit.
Right.
They've already moved these plans forward. And there's your classic RoboCop line right there.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. We'll catch you all next time.